Thank you all. Thank you all so much for being here. I think it's a real honor to speak with you all after this audience has gotten to experience Emilia Pérez for the first time. I'm going to dive right in because our time is short, and I want to start with Jacques.
Jacques. Non, je veux pas.
No, not me. I think it should be Zoe.
Well, we'll just very quick, Jacques. Okay. If you don't mind talking about the origins of this film. It was, I know, inspired by a novel or by the character, the central character of a novel, and originally conceived as an opera libretto,
oui.
And then built into the form in which we've seen it tonight as a extremely cinematic musical. And I wonder if you could just speak a bit about what drew you to the character, to the source text, and then how you determined that it should be a musical ultimately.
Bonsoir d'abord.
Good evening, everybody.
Vous êtes tellement beau.
You are so pretty.
Alors, je ne sais pas comment exactement c'est venu, mais c'est vrai qu'au début, j'ai écrit un livret d'opéra. J'aime bien l'opéra, mais pas plus que ça. En fait, je crois que c'est depuis un moment le rapport que j'ai avec le cinéma et la musique, et que c'était assez normal qu'au bout du compte, ça aboutisse à un livret d'opéra. Alors, à quel moment le livret d'opéra s'est arrêté et qu'on a commencé à écrire une comédie musicale? Je ne pourrais pas trop vous le dire, mais je crois tout simplement c'est parce que si ça avait été un opéra, le musicien Clément Ducol aurait dû écrire 2 heures de musique de plus. Ça s'est arrêté là.
I'm not quite sure how I went from the first idea of the opera libretto to what it ended up being. I do love opera, but I'm not like in some extreme way. So for a while, I was thinking about my relationship in terms of what cinema is and what music is. And that led to opera. And then how do I decide when the libretto ends and when the musical comedy starts? Well, if it had continued to be an opera, Clément Ducol would have had to write 2 hours more of music.
So from the beginning, you knew that it was a musical work, that the story of Emilia Pérez was tied up in the music of the telling.
Oui, absolument, absolument. Mais je suis un peu embarrassé parce que je ne saurais pas vous dire pourquoi. Mais je savais qu'au départ, ça serait quelque chose de musical. Peut-être que j'aimerais tellement que mes amis parlent à ma place. Mais sur ce point-là, je suis le seul à pouvoir répondre en même temps.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little embarrassed here because I really don't know why. And I always knew that it had to be musical, but I really wish for my friends here to speak. But I do know I'm the only one that can respond to this question, though.
So speak, please, my friends.
Maybe we can come around the other side of the question by speaking about this extraordinary ensemble that you've brought together. No, it's. I think the ensemble is.
Alors, moi, je vais dire un truc, c'est que je sais pas si la qualité d'un film dépend du plaisir qu'on a pris à le faire, mais là, j'ai pris un plaisir énorme à travailler avec ce monde-là, mes amis. Et c'est peut-être un chef-d'œuvre, en fait.
Now, I can tell you one thing. I'm not sure if the quality of a movie depends on the pleasure we have while making it, but I did experience huge pleasure working with all these people, my friends, and therefore it might be a masterpiece.
Sorry. Smiley.
This comes across in the film, the magic, the true magic and chemistry and sort of beauty of this cast that you've assembled. And I'm curious how this cast came together, both on your side as the director, but also how each of these extraordinary actors became involved and what drew you to the project and sort of how you all found each other.
¿Tú cómo llegaste?
Okay, I can only speak for my experience through my reps at CAA. They called me up and they said that there was a Jacques Audiard movie and that there was a role that they really felt that I should meet him for. And my question was, wait, but does he want to meet me, or you guys are just like pitching me to him, but he doesn't really know who I was? It was probably the latter, but it's okay. And we had a Zoom. I was in Los Angeles and he was in Paris, and he was a little tired because it was very late for him. And after my third panic attack, the Zoom started, and we ended up having a lovely conversation where he explained to me what Emilia Pérez was about, and I think my soul left my body. I just couldn't understand it. It was confusing but exciting and so fresh and nuanced. And then I sang, in the Zoom, and then he called me back. And then when he asked me, I want you to play Rita, but you have to find a way to get your character to Mexico as you. And then I wrote him like this email of like, okay, well, she's Dominican and then she was born. He goes, la, okay, fantastic. Just Rita, that's okay.
Yo como llegué, sorry for my English, it's like Spanish. ¿Cómo? Es perfecto, pero si estoy hablando en español, muchacha.
I'm speaking in Spanish, of course it's perfect.
Yo llegué, yo creo que era la última ya que vieron, era su última esperanza y no quedaba nadie más, entonces yo tuve que hacerlo. Porque
I was the last hope, so I had to do it.
Era su última esperanza. Para mí fue impresionante llegar a este proyecto. Yo la primera vez que conocí a mi querido director, que es el mejor Jacques, que es el mejor del mundo, por cierto, llegué y lo vi en París y fue un amor a la primera vista. Estuvimos toda la noche juntos.
I really think I was the last of it. I was his last hope, but it was really incredible for me the first time that I met my very dear director, Jacques, who is the best in the world. It was love at first sight. We spent the entire night together.
Así gané el papel.
And that's how I got the role.
No. No, fue porque de verdad le convencí para que me dejara actuar en su película, porque de verdad era un regalo lo que tenía de personaje, y para mí interpretar estas dos versiones en un arco tan diferente de un principio hasta el final, de cómo es Emilia al principio en ese Manitas y cómo acaba, me parecía maravilloso. Entonces no podía dejar pasar la oportunidad de trabajar en esta grandiosa película y fue maravilloso encontrarle.
No. It was really because I convinced him. To take me on. I thought that this character was such a gift, and an even bigger gift to be able to play her from beginning to end. And I just couldn't pass up this opportunity.
I met with Jacques in New York at first, and we had a meeting. Very confusing considering we don't speak the same language, but he definitely understood a lot more than I could. And I knew that working with someone like Jacques was like a dream to me, because I don't think a lot of directors would take chances on me for annoying obvious reasons, but I appreciated his his chance to let me. I properly auditioned. I did all the crazy things that I possibly could do and learned the songs. And I like to believe that I earned this role because I truly put my all in it. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
So kind.
With you too?
No, not me.
Une chose, c'est que Damien parle avec Zoé de la danse.
My turn. Sorry, it's midnight. Sorry. Well, what can I say? I mean, I admire Jacques Audiard's work, and when I received the casting, I was so pleased to do it. And then I had a callback in Paris when I met him, and he was like, do you really sing, girl? And I was like, of course I sing. Okay. And I was like, do you want me to sing for you? And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay. And I sang Cielo Rojo, which is a Mexican mariachi song that I really love. It's my mom's favorite song. So it was the only one that I remembered because I was so nervous. I was like, oh, of course I can. But of course I was like, shaking inside of me. But, well, he's a great director, but as you can see, he's a better person, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. Better director, okay. Sorry. But he is great, and all this cast are great too. So I'm so happy to be here with you in New York.
You are too kind, girls.
J'aimerais bien que Damien et Zoé parlent de la danse.
I really would like for Damien and Zoe to discuss the dancing and singing.
I would like that very much.
Just like that?
Where did it begin? Where did it emerge from?
C'est une comédie musicale quand même.
Well, I mean, I can say that when I first met Jacques, it was actually completely by coincidence in Mexico. And I was really completely desperate because all of my tours were canceled because another COVID wave. And I was saying to my partner, like, it would be great if now a great director could contact me to just do something. And the next 24 hours, I got a message from Pauline, his assistant. And I said, I'd love to do it, but I'm in Mexico. He said, but actually the film might be in Mexico. It's arriving on Friday. So we met on Friday. We had a conversation for 2 hours. And you told me, yeah, I read the script, and when I read the script, there was basically absolutely no indication for any kind of dance into it. So I truly wanted to do it, but it was a massive challenge because I just literally had to push so much to try to find a place to do so. And we had many attempts. Because I told him, you have to know that I'm going to be on your way. I'm just going to be in between you and your actors because actually most of the dance has to happen between them. And I have to say that when we start to work with, I mean, all of the actors were incredible. When I got to know that a dancer, and that was the same with Selena, but when I knew that a dancer would be taking the part of Rita, I was so relieved because I was like, I'm going to finally be able to put some dance into this and to kind of push really the dancing as far as we can. And God knows that, like, Zoe is such an incredible, and Selena, with all these works we did together it was such a gift to have the chance to work with people that really took dance seriously, that really for them dance was an important tool as much as the words, as much as the songs, but especially important. And when we did all this, we first worked on Allegato, which was all this complex move that she had to learn quite quickly. I said, we need to push this further, and that's how we started to work on El Mal, and maybe you can talk about it if you want to, the whole journey that was.
Please.
Well, the time that you and Jacques were working together was enough for you to have a deep understanding of who these characters were, and mind you, once we all came aboard, everybody added their soul and their view and their journey into their characters. And for me, Rita was no different. Rita was a person, a very familiar woman that conceals much more than what she shows, and knows much more than what she shares. And the only outlet that we had in the story where Rita really got to be who she truly was in these dance numbers and in the music. She was much more cynical about her environment. She was much more enraged about the injustices in her environment, and she was much more scared of Emilia, and Emilia's courage than she let out. So through these numbers, it was about sort of showing that, and we were saying the same thing today about Selena as Jessie, where there was, and mind you can speak for Jessie more than anybody, but that desperation that Jessie felt to get out of this mold of always being told what to do and being deceived and betrayed, and all she wants to do is break free from that, came out in these numbers that Jessie would do, that Selena would incarnate, and it was quite incredible. And I know that Jacques from the beginning, what he did not want was a musical in the sense that you're acting and then all of a sudden there's an abrupt pause and an abrupt transition into a musical number. He wanted a seamless flow, and that's why I guess this became like an opera in a sense, where there was no beginning and there was no end to what was being said and what was being sung and what was being danced, but that came from us coming together and having a true understanding of where we believed Emilia was going to be, and trusting that Jacques was going to take us there, no matter how crazy and wild we were. I mean, there was one day where we're putting together El Mal, and Jacques comes to see a rehearsal. Mind you, Jacques is coming for an hour, but he's probably going to take a break to go smoke a cigarette 70 times in that hour. So you only have sort of like 3-minute increments of having his attention, and selling him on this like little thing that Damien has been working on, and he's been having me do 30,000 times. And then all of a sudden Jacques comes in. I'm like, well, Jacques, I kind of wanted to get on the table. And Jacques' like, yes, get on the table, get on the table. Damien's like, no, we shouldn't get on the table.
That was the opposite.
No, wait, was it you? Jacques did not want to get on the table.
You didn't want to.
Jacques was the one that said, yes, touch her breast, touch her breast. And I was like, oh, should I touch her breast? We didn't touch her breast. We had to sign a form, and we couldn't find a form, so we decided not to. But the actress was fine with us doing it, but we just didn't. But that was how far we wanted to take it. But the collaboration was always there, and it was really magical.
I want to.
That's why I want you to work with these people.
I want to ask more about this magic that happened with this sort of the alchemy of performance and context and tone. I think part of what's so extraordinary about the film is that it's very fluidly navigating these tonal changes between melodrama and comedy and musical theater. And I'm curious about each of your experiences as performers and your experience, Jacques, working with your performers. I want to start with Edgar because you haven't spoken yet. And also, I was very charmed by your performance as a sort of a villain of few words. You really managed to economically convey this larger-than-life presence of this villain in a way that transcends the different genres that the film is working in. Of sort of the crime thriller element and the musical element. And I'm just curious if you could just kick off this conversation about working in those different registers and how you approached the character to try and make this coherent.
Well, you're very generous. Thank you very much. I also spent the whole night with Jacques, and that's how I got the part. No, I'm thinking now seriously. Yeah, and I think that we can all agree on because definitely with this extraordinary ladies, they have musical numbers, so they had some structure in the sense of preparing those songs and of course doing the choreography and all of that. But I think that once that was done, we went to set and we just were playing with the elements that were there. There's there is a creative space that Jacques allows to exist, where he's really curious and he has a very compassionate glance to reality and also to the reality of film, to the reality of set. So he was very open to be also surprised by what we would bring or how, you know, the interaction of all the elements on set would elicit in us. There were a lot of surprises, actually, you know, of course, like Selena's I discovered my character in her eyes, you know, because there was not, as you said, there was not much description. This is the love interest, this is like the padrote that is, you know, in her life, that in a way is kind of like a catalyst that will allow her to regain agency over her personal life and sexuality and all of that. So of course, it was something that we discovered together. I discovered my character in the interaction with her, and of course with Karla, and every time we would come, I mean, he as more than a director, I mean, he's a conductor. I mean, he would really take every tone, every different color. Okay, Edgar, we tried, because there was never a wrong choice. There was always a choice. Okay, now let's try something else, because I imagine, and clearly we can see it there, once he's in front of the movie, it's in front of all the pieces, he starts to collect, okay, I need this more, and that's why he needed all the elements. So for me, just to sum it up, it was something like, it was like a happening. It was like an extreme happening. You would come to set, and you would play with what you had, and even the musical number that we had, that was not in the original script. That was something that after Selena and I started to work, there was some chemistry, something that happened, some magic, and then suddenly we got a text. I got a text from you. It's like, you're coming.
In 1 week, let's go.
In 1 week, let's go. We're doing a musical number. And I said, am I dancing in this movie? Am I singing like karaoke? That was not on the script, but you have to be ready for that, you know? And that is a beautiful, it's amazing when you have a director that has such a very specific vision. He knows exactly what he wants, but he's open enough to just let himself be surprised by his own creation.
It was wonderful, wasn't it?
I want to ask Karla, as the sort of anchor of the film, the real, I think, heart and soul of the film, Emilia Pérez, the titular character. I wonder if you could speak about how you built Emilia from script to person, and because I think it's such an extraordinarily well-realized character, and I think in many ways Emilia is what holds the film together.
Bueno, para mí creo que yo lo único que he podido aportar a este personaje ha sido lo único que tengo que dar, que es mi propio ser. O sea, creo que este personaje lleva toda mi alma en sí misma, y me dejé la piel para hacer este personaje. Creo que es el personaje más hermoso y el mejor trabajo que he hecho en mi vida. No solo porque la película es grandiosa y porque tengo unos compañeros y unas compañeras maravillosas, sino porque creo que el proyecto merecía la pena, y al final esto es una esperanza para todos aquellos actores y actrices que están dejándose la piel siempre en el escenario, trabajando duro, porque a veces las cosas llegan cuando resulta que ya estás casi para ir a la residencia, ¿sabes? Espera, te voy a dejar que la traduzca.
I think the only thing that I really bring into the character, the only thing that I have to give is my very being, my soul. I left my skin with Emilia to make this beautiful work. I feel like it's really my best work. And not just because it was a great film, but it was because I felt that the project was worth it. And I also wanted to be a beacon of hope for a lot of actors that are leaving their skin on set. And sometimes they think that it's not going to come, or that it'll come when you're already on your way to retirement.
Yes, y digo lo de la residencia porque tengo 52. I'm 52 years old, and maybe in the next years I play to the bingo real. Because it's the bingo. I say bingo to a lot of time because I need to practice. You know? But para mí, o sea, creo que es un personaje, y no quiero pecar de falta de modestia, pero creo que es un personaje que es único, que hay muy pocos actores y actrices que puedan interpretar en este momento, que ojalá no siga sucediendo esto así, pero tener la oportunidad de representar un personaje de una manera física tan diferente, que hay mucha gente que todavía termina de ver la película y no se cree que yo también interpreto a la parte masculina del personaje, a ese Manitas del Monte. Y luego a esta niña que es tan femenina, que se convierte en Emilia, que es un bombón, un regalo de la vida, y trabajar ha sido muy, muy duro. He trabajado el acento, porque yo soy de Madrid, mi acento no tiene nada que ver con el mexicano, los movimientos, la voz, en 2 tesituras, las canciones, el baile no, me lo cortaron porque no soy como un robot.
We danced.
And I think this character, you know, I don't want to sin by a lack of modesty, but I think it's very unique, and I think there's very few actors right now, at least, that can interpret such a character, and I hope it won't be like this forever. But the opportunity to do this character in these in her 2 physical states, you know, it's I believe that that's, you know, sometimes people don't believe that when I tell them that I also played Manitas. And then I have to play Emilia, who is this very feminine woman. It's really been a gift, but it was a lot of hard work, I had to work on my accent. I'm from Madrid, which is an accent that has nothing to do with the Mexican accent. I had to work on my movements, my voice. I mean, the dance, they cut the dance because I couldn't do that.
It will be part of the deleted scenes when the DVD gets released.
You heard it here first, everybody.
No, but
I'm sorry to say that we're out of time, but I have to thank you all so much again for the film and for being here.